So hello and welcome everybody. Welcome back again to another new video. In our previous video, we have seen how to print our first shell script line. If you haven't watched that video, then I would recommend you to first complete that, then come to this video, as because this is a fully dedicated to Linux for hacker course. So you can see these are my previous videos, and make sure to watch it first and then come to this video. So basically, in our previous video, we have discussed about how to print our first shell script, where we have discussed how we can use echo command in our shell scripting to printing something or to print our first shell script. But in this video, we're gonna learn about some special things such as and some fundamental things like variables, data types, and we can assign a value to a variable and then we can print it. So, in this video, we are basically gonna deal with data types and variables. So, let's get start this video. So, let us first understand what a variable is. So, if you have a programming background and if you have any prior knowledge of programming like tasks such as C, C++, and Java, like and Python, so you must know that a variable is a something like a container, which basically holds some specific types of data. So also in shell scripting, it's the same as it is that variable is a placeholder, you can say, is a address in a memory location, which basically hold the value, which is a specific type of value, So such a similar kind of definition is here that the shell is a command line interpreter for Linux and Unix system. It provides an interface between the user and the kernel, which I already have discussed about in my previous videos, which is what is a shell is and how Unix and Linux work. So I don't need to tell it about more. So let us come to the types of variable. As you can see, there are basically three types of variable in shell scripting in general. So the first one is a local variable, which is mostly common variable in a other programming language like C, C++, and another is a global variable, or you can say it's an environmental variable. And another third part is the shell variable or system variable. So we will gonna look at these three aspects in more details. So let us first understand what is a local variable is. As because now you have understood what a variable is, so it will gonna easier for you to understand what a local variable is. So basically a local variable is a special type of variable which has its scope only within a specific function or a block of code. So it's a kind of it's a concept of function. If you whenever we will gonna learn about function in our shell scripting part, then it will gonna very easier for you to understand what a local variable is and what a global variable is. So we will when we will cover those part, then we will go more dig deeper into these topics. So for now you can little assume that a local variable is a kind of variable which can override the same variable name in a large scope, so as you can see, this is a shell script. This is a basic example of understanding how understanding a local variable. So as you can read, the first line is the shebang line, which is most common in all shell scripting. So this is a function name. So I think you don't you are not familiar with function, as we didn't cover that topic. So don't get worried about that. We will cover. So for now you can understand this is a function name and this is a variable. This name is equal to Satyajit. So the name is itself indeed a variable. And as this name variable is defined under this function get name, so this name variable is called as a local variable, which is as simple. So let us now understand what a global variable is. So it is the just opposite of the local variable, because whenever a variable is defined outside of a function, for example, in this case, you can see the name variable is defined outside the getName function. So this is considered as a global variable and it has a global scope. The scope of the variable is throughout all the program, not within the function name itself. So these things are there. And at last, there are some system-defined variables which you can see on the screen now. If you type the command print env in your terminal, then it will basically print your system variables such as shell variable, then display variable, desktop session variable, lang variable, username variable, and PWD variable. So these are basically the system-defined variables inside your local environment, you know. So this is a system-defined variable. So if I go into my Kali Linux terminal and if I just type env, you can also see these are the system defined variable such as the G, GDM lang and the username you can see. So these are the system defined variable. Also you can type print env and you can see more abstract output of this command. You can see these are the system defined variable. Now, as you have understood about what a variable is, so it's the time to learn about data types. So, what a data type is? So, data type is basically a type of data what we are going to handle in our programming, such as shell scripting, you know. So, it's let me give you a simple example for which you can by which you can understand easily what a or what a data type is. For example, let's say there is a variable name called a. So if I assign some value to that a variable, then it will gonna store in that particular variable or in a memory location. So, such as if I write so let's say if I write here a is equal to 23. So what is it? 23, right? So 23 is an integer. You all know it. So integer is a data type. So in shell scripting, there are some kind of popular data type, such as the very popular data type is the string, and another is the integer, and another is the array, and there are a lot more data types such as associative, Boolean, file streams, environmental variables, and a lot more are there. But the important factor or the important thing is which you all need to understand in shell scripting, which is the string variable data type and the integer data type and the Boolean data type. These are the most common data types which are frequently used in any shell scripting. So let's come to the first data type, which is string. So you all know what a string is and how it looks like. So you can see this is an example of a string data type, which is this is a variable name, which is name, and it holding a variable uh, value, which is got, or here it is another, which is hey bestie. So these are what? These are the strings, which is holding which is holding a the variable called name, and the text variable is also holding the string data type, which is hey bestie. So the hey bestie keyword or the string, you can say this is a string type of data type. So now you have understood what is a string data type, and so let us understand what is integer. So these are as simple as it is. Integers are the numbers such as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and more. So if I assign a num equal to 42, then num is the variable and 42 is the data which is being stored in the num variable. But what it is a data type. And what data type it is? It is a integer data type. And another thing is the Boolean. As we all know that Boolean is nothing but which is 0 or 1, which is true or which is false or true. But in shell scripting, you can't see there is any false message or there is any true message like other programming language like Python, like etc. But you will gonna see there will be zero if there is the result is false, and you will gonna see one if the result is true. So the shell scripting hold Boolean value in one or zero format, which is in binary format. You all know that. So for example, if isCool is a variable, then if I assign isCool is equal to 1, then the 1 is the type of variable. So, no, so you might think here that the 1 is an integer, which is true, but in this case, it will be considered as a Boolean value, which is true, you know. So if I assign it to 0, for example, this, then it will be considered as a false. which is a Boolean data type. So also there are some more other data types such as array and associative array, file streams, environmental variables, which we will gonna cover in further some video. So don't get worried about it. So let us start now by doing practically what we are talking about. So let's come to our terminal. As you can see, here's my terminal. This is my Kali Linux machine. I can show you. You can see. This is my Kali Linux GNU Linux rolling x86-64 and host. You can see here. So now let's start by writing our second shell script to understand data type and variable closely. So now let's come to creating our first shell script, our second shell script. So let me give the command sudo, and then I will use the text editor nano to write our shell script, and then I will write variable dot sh and then hit enter. So let me hit my password and hit enter, and you can see this is my nano text editor, and here I am gonna write my shell script. So as always, the first line should be the shebang line. So let me write it, and then let us create a variable. For example, in this case, I will create a variable called where, and then I will assign it to a value. So for example, let's say I want to assign a integer value or an integer value to this variable where. So for this reason, so let's say 5089. So this is a integer, right? So it is being assigned to the variable named where. So if you are confused in name where, so it can be anything, if you want to create another variable such as where d, so you can also do this. So let's assign it, and then I want to print this variable's value. So for this reason, in order to do that, I will use the echo command, as I already have told you. Then I would use the symbol. The This is a dollar symbol, and it is basically used to hold or to print variable name or the value of the variable. So, in basically shell scripting, the dollar symbol is used to print a value of the variable, and I will simply write here where, and then that's all. We did it. This is our shell script, and uh, let's say it will print. So let me just make a comment. So to comment something, there is a hash symbol which is used to comment. It will basically print 50 and then 89. So let's see by running it or by executing it, whatever you can say. So let me save it and then hit enter. So as you can see, this is the where it is. Yeah, this is the variable .sh. So let me make it executable by running the command chmod and plus x, then variable .sh, and then hit enter. Okay, I think there is some typo mistakes. Okay, now it's done, and let's start see it by executing. You can see. Okay, so I think there is some kind of error. Okay, so there is another mistake in my shell script, so let me fix it quickly. So what it basically okay, let me remove it. And there should be no space around the assignment operator, the equal to symbol is basically considered as a assignment operator in most of the programming language such as shell script as well. So there should be no space around it. I had a typo mistakes, so let me fix it, and then I can save it and then run it. So as you can see, this is our output, which is 5089. So it basically does what? It basically printed the, if I show you the script again, you can see this is our script, and there should be no space around the assignment operator, which I have did a mistake. So make sure to do not it. And you can see this is our shell script, which is the where is the variable name, and the assignment operator is basically used here to assign the value 5089, which is the integer type, which is the integer data type. And then we just printed the variable's value using the echo command. And this is the ignore it, as because this hash symbol is basically used to comment out some specific part of our script or our program. So now let's start by doing another example. In this case, now we're gonna have a newer data type, which is a string data type. So let me do that. So in order to print a string, or in order to store a string inside a variable such as where over here, you need to give a double quote. No, this is the double quote, or you can also provide single quote also, but it will be a best practice if you use double quote for strings, and you can use single quotes for a single letter or a single alphabet character, so this is the best practice. So inside this double quote you can write whatever you want to write. For example, if I write this, then you can see this is this is a long string, this is what you want to write. So this is a string, and I just basically stored it inside the where variable, and now I'm gonna print it. So let me remove this comment, as because it will gonna print this line what you want to write. So don't assume that this is mandatory, as because this is a comment. You can give it. I am just giving this because for the illustration purpose you can give it, but it doesn't necessary to write it. So you can also remove it. So let me remove it. Why I'm writing, let me remove it. So as you can see, now let's save it and then hit enter. And then again I'm gonna run this, and but this time you can see it has basically printed a string, which is also a data type, which is a string data type. And yeah, as well, this is so let me show you the script again. You can see this is the variable called where, and inside this variable there is a string data type, and we just printed the string data type using the echo command. So it's as simple as it is. So yeah, this was a very simple and exemplary video about shell scripting's variable and data type parts. So if you learned something new, then make sure to subscribe our channel for such more videos. Until then, keep learning, keep hacking, and upgrading yourself. And goodbye.